The way that I normally write my notes when it involves lectures, normally I would be like referring to textbooks. So for this case, for today, I'll be explaining on how I write notes for my heat and mass transfer. So as you can see, heat and mass transfer is like a pretty thick book, okay? So but the thing is, when you go through the lecture slides, you'll notice that not everything is important. So what I'll do is I'll just read through to understand like what is the definitions of stuff, so that at the end of the day you know the fundamentals. I'm writing down the steps because in engineering we do a lot of assumptions. So when you write down your assumptions, you know that you're understanding why you're creating those assumptions. That because when you study for final exams, you don't want to be going through like massive amounts of pages. You just want to go through few simple notes so that you can understand what's going on.
I think that is the purpose of notes.
Yeah.
So it can be like a guide during a short time that we have before the final exam. Yeah. So that is where notes is so important.
Yeah. So these are like me going through questions and trying to understand what's going on. And then obviously once I've gone through the questions, I'll be writing notes. So I'll be like, the notes are partially from the lecture notes and partially from the textbook. So normally the equations are given in the lecture notes, but the explanation on why the equation is as such, like this, what is R, is normally in your textbook.
It's like both important, so you have to focus in your class as well as do revision in your textbook.
Yeah, because lecture notes are lecture notes. They are like short, very, very short notes. So to understand the equations, if your end goal is understanding, you have to go through the textbook or go through like online videos and learn more about it. So those are basically it.
That shows we have to put like extra effort. When we go into learning something new.
So I that is basically my method of studying. So I'll be like highlighting notes. So whatever I study and I find it important or very difficult, or those are like critical information that I need to know, I'll be highlighting them. So
like this?
And then this is one interesting thing. When I said studying about like to understand why an equation is an equation. So let's say in your lecture notes, this is the equation that is going to be given. But then to understand how this equation came about, you have to go through the textbook and then you can like derive it. And then you can find it that it's like proven this is equals to this. So that's how you understand an equation.
So it's about understand equation through equation.
Yeah, because something is always derived from something else. So you need to know the basics so that you can modify, you can understand the equations further. So same thing, writing notes. Then I found something very interesting that I did last time. I did steps to solve questions.
Steps to solve questions?
So if there's like questions to solve, you just have to like do these steps and then you are able to solve the questions. And then I've done that for plenty other notes. Like for example, there's
this one actually. Here you go.
So these are the steps. The steps are for these notes, because if you look at this, there's like a lot of equations. So you have to know which steps to take first. So I'll be writing those, and then using the steps that I've made, I will solve a question. So can you see like this is like step 1, step 2, step 3. Say identify the body, cylinder or plate. So I go here, cylinder.
Oh wow.
Right?
Nice.
So that's like the step.
Cool.
So then then I do recaps of my notes. That means recaps are mostly all the equations. And how they come about and some of the steps, important steps. And yeah, those are all notes. So technically, when I'm going before finals, I'll be like going through these notes, and then going through past year questions.
Okay.
Because the steps to solve questions are already in here.
Alright.
So if I don't know how to solve the final year paper, past final year paper, I just have to refer to this.
Okay.
Because I already have the notes, the formulas, and then I have the steps, and I have example questions on how I solve them. So that's how I do it.
So you can directly refer the specific question that you don't know how to do to
Yeah.
your notes. Alright.
Yeah, so I don't have to go through like the entire textbook to figure it out.
Yep.
Or
So
the
heavy, by the way.
And then I just want to share one thing. When you do test questions or final exam questions, make sure you go towards your last question. So when you do the questions, make sure you go towards the last page, because I was so excited and so confident in doing this paper. I missed the last question, so I got a 0. And I'm lucky that the weightage is only 4 marks.
Yeah.
Imagine it was like 10 marks. So let's not imagine bad stuff, eh? So make sure you go through the entire paper, and then yeah,
Alright.
that's all.